Hello everyone. There's two reasons that this video exists. Number one, I needed to test this microphone and see if I'm willing to swap out my good old trusty Shure for something a little bit more visually friendly, because I've had this guy for ages and never got to use it. But now that I got this Swank, it sounds like this one's able to make the pop that I want, and I can use this excellent microphone to support that. Two, I figured we'd take an opportunity and go and take a look and see what the heck is going on with Luna today. So I've been following, just because I know there's people that follow the channel and they may be in the project and they're curious as to what's really going on with this business of Luna. And so I figured, let me go ahead and take a look myself today, see where we're at. Has anything changed? What's going on? And I noticed something, and I think this is important and it's telling. Here is the new Luna. Let's call it Luna Shiny. Shiny Luna. Let's call it Shiny Luna. Shiny Luna, the new Luna, Shiny Luna is now at 5.6, $5.60 some odd cents, and it's trending sideways. But if you zoom in, there's a couple of things we notice here, which is that there was a run up in the crack of dawn, my time. Tells me that the international crowd woke up and they started getting in on this business. And then it's trading sideways a little bit more. Remember what I said before? I said I figured that this had a strong potential to go positive and go up because I didn't see a reason it would go down. It's just the nature of what the project is, the newness, the shiny. People would be buying in because it's new. And then, of course, you have FOMO, right? You see that there's a low price. You see that there's interest. You see that there's volume. Volume, remember you heard me tell that. Volume was on this dude. Well, if you look at the volume, it's about 13 million, 24 hours in the amount of tokens traded. Of course, there's shortly over 1 billion tokens total. So not significant amount of tokens are being moved yet. This is only the second day for this, I believe. And then 24-hour volume is beneath I think it peaked at like 130 million. So it's half that. However, even though the volume is down, we're still seeing what appears to be, if my eyes deceive me, a positive trend. This got me thinking, perhaps the higher volume was people that were selling off. They were actually trying to day trade or sell it off or something else, or just we needed to have the international folks wake up and get on board in order to really get a sense of people that want to buy in on this business. Okay, so then I decided, let's look at Luna Classic, the non-shiny. Luna Classic, if you notice its graph, well, all of a sudden, it's also trading sideways, but it's also trending upward. If you heard my other video, you would have heard me say that this was what I suspected might happen, which is I believed it was going to be a rat race on the way up on both projects because of arbitrage. Here's what's funny. The volume is less than 300 billion. The other day, it was over 700 some odd billion. So it also is down by half. However, the trend line is going to the positive on Luna Classic. How can this be? You ask Leicester, and the fact is, sentiment is the most important thing in cryptocurrency. And I don't think people appreciate what it is. Sentiment means that there are still people out there who believe in both projects. There's likely, I can guarantee, there's people who are investing in both. And there's people who are performing arbitrage between both. They're bouncing as they see the graph goes. They're riding the wave. If one goes down, they're buying on the dip. If one goes up, they're taking profits and buying into the other one. I can guarantee there's those. Then there's people that don't care about it right now. They see the price being that dang low as a steep discount, and they're buying in because they remember what happened with Ethereum Classic, and they're jumping in now and getting their bags, and they're sitting on it. The fact that I see such positive price movement ever so recently, and we see this run up, tells me there's positive sentiment even on Luna Classic, despite what happened with UST. Consider also that, as far as I know, there's still this organic effort to try to perform burns to help salvage what was and recoup money. The downside on Luna Classic is you probably still have people who are sitting there that want to recoup what they lost. Though rug pull was not going to make that happen with the new Luna Shiny. So they're going to try to get it some other way. What am I saying? I'm saying that Luna Classic, I still believe, has room to climb. I believe it's going to take some time before we really understand what its top resistance, the final top resistance, is going to be. Do I think it's going to get back to the sky highs of before? Absolutely not. Could I get it wrong? Absolutely. I think it's unlikely. And that's simply because of the supply. The supply is significant. It would take years to burn through it at this point. UST is still a thing. They tried to do some burns UST to try to help that side. That's not done yet. Meanwhile, over here, it's just going and going and going. Notice the sell pressure, which is the top line here, to fight to get to that next level of resistance. Because, of course, where could it go next? Drop another zero and start going on a run. So now we hit a period of resistance. But if you look at my trend lines, it's not expected to go significantly higher. We should expect to see more sell pressure, and there it goes. I'm telling you guys from my angle, both Luna Classic and Luna Shiny still have room to grow. But for now, they're trading sideways because people are still performing arbitrage between the two. And if you watch the two graphs side by side, you can clearly see it. You can clearly see that there are a period of times when both of them are climbing mysteriously, and then all of a sudden one of them goes down, but the other one's jumping like crazy. This tells me arbitrage. This tells me people are jumping between the two, and that's a brilliant strategy because what you can do is then maximize your bag on whichever one makes the most sense from a long-term perspective. You also have to consider people that are sitting on bags on Luna Classic waiting for the right time to sell, to recoup what they lost. Most of them are going to try to take as much time as possible before they sell off bags. We have to look at who, on the volume side, we have to look at who decides to stay behind. Who decides to stay behind versus who decides to just completely jump ship because they no longer believe in Luna Classic. We also have to pay attention up top here in terms of positive price movement. If I look at Luna Shiny, 5.60 cents is significant growth from where it launched off $1. But Luna Classic has a significant percentage of growth. How can that be? Arbitrage. That's my theory. People are performing arbitrage, and it's pumping both up. That's actually good for all sides. And it's intriguing to see that. It's intriguing to see that there's such still support for Luna Classic, despite what the heck the Doe rug pull was trying to pull. The other point, which Free My Grandma's calling out, you have to watch and see. Now, Luna Classic and Luna, of course, they're on their own blockchain. There's no direct tie to things like BNB or Avalanche, right? But there is a direct tie to Bitcoin. Recently, the theory came out that Bitcoin's going to tank some more. And then after it hits a certain level of bottom resistance, it's expected to skyrocket back up. I have predicted multiple times that I think June is going to have a minor bull run, predominantly because of tax season and people getting refunds. And my theory, people are going to dump some tax money into cryptocurrency. Could I get it wrong? Absolutely. But it seems like most that are analyzing crypto are agreeing that June feels, from a sentiment, feels like it's primed for a run. If we get the run up on the Bitcoin side, it will help offset some of the issues with Luna Classic. It won't necessarily spike new Luna, because new Luna is no longer connected to the algorithmic. So while there's some Bitcoin behind it, it's nowhere near as much dependent, from what I can tell, as Luna Classic would be. Now it's going to get really interesting. Do you see that Luna Classic just takes off and do the move, doop, 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 and then Luna's left behind? You're going to see some arbitrage. You're going to see some dumps. What's that look like? I have no idea. Do you also see other crypto out there take off and these start to settle down? Doubtful, but that's also possible. We also have to look at the developers. When they get onto the new Luna, is that going to have some positive price movement? Do we see some impacts because they're now developing apps on the new Luna? Do some developers say, screw it, we're just going to stay on Luna Classic? All of these are variables, and we have to wait. Time has to tell us what's going to really happen. I would say I can't tell you, again, like I did the last, I can't tell you which one's going to, it's a race. And that all I can tell you is that I was right in the fact it's a race. It's a race to the top. Sentiment's playing a large factor in this. But the Luna Classic is certainly defying the odds at this point, and it looks like it's about to do a run, and we have to see where that one goes, because the buy pressure is huge on Luna Classic right now. Luna, the Shiny, doesn't have sell pressure necessarily. it has volume. The volume is lower. Less people are buying in, less people are transacting, and there's mostly arbitrage, from what I can tell, for the Luna. So this may be just people trying to recoup money that they lost on, or day trading or something else. There's buy pressure on the Luna Shiny, but it's not as much buy pressure as you see on Luna Classic. So for example, the greatest price somebody's trying to do is $5.58 to push the price up, I'm saying. But on Luna Classic, it looks like 4 zeros and 9.3, and it's currently trading at 4 zeros and 9.2. But because the price is so low, there's significantly more volume being pushed at those prices, which is purposely driving. Basically, they're chewing up the lower price tiers. The lowest price right now is 9.263 as far as what's being offered, and that's being chewed up. 9.287, 9.288, 9.289, 9.290. It's just chewing through what's being put up for sale. That means the people that are selling Luna and making it available, they're driving the price up strategically well. Now we start to see more sell pressure than buy pressure. I suspect this goes back green. Let's see if I'm right. There it goes. Because the order book is nuts right now, because a lot of people are selling Luna Classic, but they're selling at a price premium. They're selling to drive up the price. It's not that they're dumping. They're purposely pushing the price up. So I'm intrigued on Luna Classic and where it's going. And then as far as Luna Shiny, if it follows the same pattern, then that means Luna Shiny is due for a run here shortly to deal with this and kind of chew this back up. But I don't see as much in sales being made available to push the price up. This one feels more like people are trying to get rid of it, but they're asking for a little bit of profit off of it. But it's nowhere near what Classic's doing. So anyway, it's a waiting game. It's a race. It's a rat race. Luna Classic still has significant amounts of volume. It doesn't have anywhere near what it had before, but has significant amounts of volume. Regular Luna still has volume, but its volume is tapered off as well. It doesn't have anywhere close to the volume it had yesterday by far and away. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because most of what's coming in are trying to push buy pressure. So Luna, Shiny Luna is going to be it's truly a waiting game. It's too early to know. And we have to let the developers get on board with it. We have to let apps get created. We have to let utility get created. We have to let a lot of things settle with the new Luna, Shiny Luna. Whereas with Classic, for as long as it lasts, there's going to be opportunities to day trade for those that want to do it. And there's significant buy pressure still, even now. And it looks like the overnight folks are not necessarily on the Luna Classic. So I don't know if there's something to that either. That's all I got. Any questions on what we're doing with these two? Please drop them in chat before I dial out. And I was very pleased with this microphone. I think I'm going to keep it. Yeah, it's nuts. All right, cool. If something comes up, just feel free to leave it in the comments box below the video once it posts. Once again, thank you for joining us live, and I'll check back with you probably tomorrow on this, and I'll see if the run-up happens again tomorrow early morning.